Oh, and we are on again another week. This is the second episode on our YouTube channel. This is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I don't feel any different than our Twitch feel, but
yeah. Except now we've got an amazing 10-minute long intro with a banger theme music that we're gonna run right now. Dun, 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 dun. It's trademarked. We can't do that. Don't do
you can't do that. We're on YouTube, and you're on YouTube now.
No.
You're on YouTube now, so we really cannot do that. So sorry, YouTube.
Where are you? Oh, I'm so sorry. I cannot sleep. I cannot dream. That's what tonight. That's what I think about your freaking music rules, YouTube. And Matt, for today, I brought my Game of Thrones ale horn right now.
Wow.
We are not. Yeah, this is official. We are not in any way affiliated with ale horn. Oh, and I don't even think this is an ale horn. This is just a horn that has been hollowed out, and I'm drinking ale out of it. It's an ale horn.
Well, if you guys couldn't figure out what we're talking about, Game of Thrones and the House of the Dragon. So, I mean, might as well jump right into this one.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Got him. All right. So, it's time for some game theory. Okay. All right.
Oh, God.
Hashtag game theory. Hashtag Jared still got it. Hashtag look at that jawline.
Dude, we were just talking about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You remind me so much of Mac.
Jeez. Okay. So we are talking about Game of Thrones. We're not really talking about Game of Thrones. We're going to be talking about House of the Dragon, which is we can't not talk about Game of Thrones without talking about when we're talking about the prequel. And of course, but Matt, what you have not read any of the books or any of the extended materials, right?
No,
yeah, you have not.
No.
For everyone's reference, I've read all the books. I've read all the extended materials. Jimmy, I've read the books. I've read some of the extended materials. So like there was, do yourself a favor, go down to that giant ass bookstore that you live near, and get the world. It's called The World of Ice and Fire. It's like a big ass book. It's like one of those textbooks. It's basically like the fake history of Westeros, but it's like super interesting, and it's got wonderful artwork, and it's one of those books that I just spend a whole like lazy afternoon reading.
Didn't you buy a book from that bookstore when you came to visit? And
I bought several books from that store. I found some interesting and wild books in that bookstore. There's something to be said about like lonely guys when we go into like, or like just guys in general that go into bookstores, get like a shit ton of books, and just are so excited. It's like the Pokemon cards for like adults. Yeah.
The only thing I don't read books. I read mostly comics and mangas. So I'm sorry that I'm not
a shame that they had an entire upper level of manga and comics there.
Yes, that's true. It's gotten bigger.
Yeah, get the graphic novel version of Well, now I have to go go visit you.
Yeah, you gotta look at this thing. It's gotten. There's so much more than just books, dude. There's like everything there. Literally everything.
You can't find a book warehouse north of the Mason-Dixon line, apparently. So just so you guys know, Jimmy and I are in the Area 31 bunker, but where Matt is another bunker.
I'm at location B, is what I'm at.
Location B, but we are connected by a very long hallway, and we just don't want to visit them. I bought segways to make the trip a little easier, but it's not. They run out of batteries halfway through, and there's no like plugs anywhere in the hallway.
So there's no charging stations whatsoever. So basically, what you got to do is just kind of blow your way through, just like hoping to God that there's gonna be a draft or something coming through, which most of the time there isn't.
Awesome.
Yeah,
segways are awesome until you run out of batteries, and now they're just like the most useless pieces of garbage you've ever had in your life. Before we get talking about fake fantasy world, can we talk about those like? For some reason I really want one of these.
It's hoverboard?
Like it's not a hoverboard. It's like a single wheel that like you can like fold up and it looks like R2-D2 or something. I don't even know what it is. Like, let's see here. Portable.
This is a thing.
Okay. But what about they actually have them now. They're like those Pokemon bikes that fold up that you can carry around. Get one of those.
Oh my God. I know what you're talking about. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that would actually be pretty sick to have.
Hoverboard, but I don't know what it's called. It's like. Is it one of these? No, it's not a hoverboard. It's like something else entirely. I've seen exactly one person. One of these things. There it is. It's got like a handle on it, and it's an electric Bluetooth scooter. Yeah, it's like a one-wheel electric scooter.
Oh my god! It's like remember that whole thing with the Viners that used to have like the 2-footed board where you just like stood on it. Yeah, remember when Vine was a thing? Yeah, dude, I remember when Vine was a thing. Vine was the shit, man. By the way, this is our first recording going up on also our new Spotify, which will be in details this week. So, Spotify. Look out for the Instagram and Facebook posts. Yeah, it'll probably be there. All right. I totally just remembered that because I looked down, I'm like, oh wait, I'm recording. Right, I'm recording. Duh. Yeah. We wanted Spotify to approach us for an exclusive deal, but apparently we're just too popular for them. They couldn't find us because we're in the bunkers. Well, as long as we don't have to go to Zoom, then we're fine. You know, that's totally fine. Yeah, fuck Zoom. This is the official Area Nerdy one. Fuck Zoom. Meet. You guys are welcome. Yep. All of a sudden, a representative of Zoom's gonna show up at my door and be like, "Hey, I'm Steve with Zoom." I heard you guys are talking shit. Heard you guys were talking shit on your podcast. Like, I heard you guys were talking shit about Zoom. But anyway, the House of the Dragon. Oh my god! So I've read all the extended materials. I kind of know what's going to happen. Jimmy's kind of glanced over it. Matt, what do you think? After seeing all of Game of Thrones, what do you think this is going to be about? First of all, does this take place before or after? This is like an after thing, right? Or before? It's a prequel. It's a prequel. Okay. Ooh. Well, I think it's gonna go all the way to the point where you see Jon Snow born. That's as far as I think it's gonna go. I don't know. I don't know what the timeline is of this shit. I'm not. Right. That's fair. See, you guys okay. So you guys have looked at a big bulk of like this show and story. Do we know more about Westeros history than American history? Possibly. Here, take this. Here's the example. Okay, so. This is how much you guys know about, Game of Thrones and the stories, right? Yeah. Okay. That's me. I know this much. I know that much compared to you guys. Hey, it's not about the size, it's how you use it. Oh, wait, hold on. No, wait, hold on. I was wrong. All right, I'm sorry. To be fair, it's that much compared to that. That makes sense. To be fair, can I name well over 50 houses just by their location and their sigils? Yes. Do I know where all the states are and what their names are of the United? Is there over 50 houses? Do I know how to get to the highway from my house? No. Do I know how to get from King's Landing to Dorne in the safest and most effective way way? Yes. This is only one road. There's only one road. Yeah, there's more than one. Actually, you bring it up because there is way more than 50 houses. There is? In Game of Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones didn't really do this a whole lot because they didn't have a lot of time and there's already enough people on the show as it is. Yeah. But, there are the main houses, the great houses, which are the 8 major houses of Westeros, but they're hundreds of smaller houses, with sigils and stuff like that. All over Westeros. See, I didn't know that. That's amazing because I didn't know that. Because whenever you see, now it makes sense why they wouldn't put in the show because of how many already families we have to focus on in that one show. And can you imagine just having to focus on 50? There's already too many characters as is. Please don't. Please don't. That's a major problem with the books because the books bring in a ton of those houses, absolutely monstrous amount of characters. Yeah. So if you're gonna read their Game of it literally is, and he goes into detail about all a lot of their histories and stuff like that, and their sigils. So be warned, it's a lot of data dumps. Yeah, and I think a lot a lot of these people get mentioned, and then of course they never come up again. Mm-hmm. And semi spoil it because it's going to be coming out anyways. So. We looked up the show. It's going to take place kind of I'm going to say about a halfway point. But there's the point where the first Targaryen conquered
Westeros, and that was like 200 years before Game of Thrones.
Okay, so my theory is completely off. Okay,
well,
never mind.
I'm not done. I'm not done yet. It's so this new show is going to take place. I'm going to say like about halfway through ish. So or like yeah. So
I would say about it. Honestly, it's a little. I'm not good with numbers. It's about we're gonna put it about halfway.
Yeah. So like basically that like when on the HBO website they describe it as the beginning of the end for the Targaryen house. So it's basically when things start to go a little squiffy.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So you might actually see some like little time skips here and there.
So, Matt, you beautiful, beautiful dollar.
Don't make me stupid. I want to know. I just put my opinion out there.
Tommy. I know, Tommy. I am smart person. You shall feel my smarts. This is gonna be taking place, as you said, between the Aegon Targaryen's landing and the current events. So between like the start of like the actual Seven Kingdoms, Aegon's landing, and our event and our like the first events is about 300 years.
What?
So this is gonna take place in the middle. It's called the Dance.
Oh my god. Okay, I get it now. Okay.
So this is what did you say was the guy who's king, the guy who's Targaryen king is the 5th Targaryen king.
Yeah, he's like the 5th So it's been a while. This is the first like major civil war of Westeros. And I'm gonna spoil it a little bit. It's not gonna be a major spoiler, but this is basically where the Targaryen dragons start dying off.
Spoiler alert, people.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Non-readers like me need to know.
If you watched and/or read Game of Thrones, you would know that there are no dragons around.
If you watched Game of Thrones, they do specify, and in their extended material, that this is many a times they specify that the Dance of Dragons is where the fall-off point for the Targaryen dynasty starts, because there's a lot of like dragon on dragon battles.
Get some of that dragon on dragon.
Yeah, okay. So that's where.
Okay, so the Targaryen family basically has been ruling that throne of Westeros for a long time compared to everybody else that we're seeing in the actual show of Game of Thrones. So basically, like whenever what was it, Baratheon was in was the king.
By the start of the actual events of Game of Thrones that we see, Robert Baratheon has only been on the throne for 15 years, and that's the only time.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so it's a very short time.
In the books, it's only like, what, 10 years?
It's about 15 years, too.
Wow, so that's not even a reign, dude. That's wow. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
It's very short. So, and the Targaryens had ruled for about 300 years up to that point.
Now it all makes sense.
Unusual. And I've never understood how that works, because their family tree is basically a tree trunk.
Oh, so I actually have
it's just a tree trunk.
Yeah. So I actually have a couple theories on that. First of all, they in their family they have, even in this story, they have actually married outside of that. It's just between them and the House of Valerian, which is a house I've always wanted to see in the show. But because this is like a magic, not exactly like our world. I think the way incest kind of works is that instead of having like deformities like we would see eventually in our world, they just like kind of have a more early onset severe dementia.
So what you're saying is their inbreeding is basically a magic system in Westeros.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
yeah. So okay,
how is he not? How are they not like? So have you guys heard of this guy?
The Habsburg?
Charles II of Spain. Basically, he was a Habsburg prince or king who was so inbred that his body just would not function correctly.
Oh, King Tut.
Yeah.
It was so I'm like, but like this has been like 300 years, so you'd think they'd have like an extra arm or something by this point.
Yeah. But I guess into the defense of the show and the story, basically they're trying to stay in the family because of the royalty of it all, basically because they're trying to keep the blood strong, right? So that's the whole point of this.
It's kind of hard to root for Daenerys Targaryen if she's got like a massive like Habsburg chin as well.
That's true. She's not an absolute bombshell. We're not gonna get as much viewership.
Yeah, Jorah. It would be much creepier if Jorah Mormont was really into her when she had like an arm growing out of her forehead. He's like, Yeah, I still want to hit
For
that.
all the people, if anybody is a result of sort of like an inbred thing, we apologize.
We're not like experts on inbreeding.
No, this is all just yeah.
It's part of our algorithm.
No. That's gonna be the one thing someone types in. That's our thing's gonna be the first thing that pops up every time.
But to be fair,
it is exactly not what I wanted to happen. I did not want us to get into the weeds on this particular aspect.
So Jimmy, that thumbnail would have been perfect then that we would have worked on.
This isn't the hub, man. We can't rely on those types of searches.
Yeah, no, it's but to be fair, it is George Martin's and HBO's fault that we have to talk so in depth about incest. I mean that's the whole plot line of like
pretty much the Lannister stuff, and also Joffrey. You can't forget Joffrey.
And to kind of talk about the cultural impact that Game of Thrones has, like that I'm not even going to address it anymore. This is like the sun. I don't want to look directly at it. That facet of the story has been worked into like tons of shows and movies for no goddamn reason. Yeah. Other than the fact that like Game of Thrones did it, so we might as well throw that in.
It's like drink if you've seen a show with an incest plot line, Yeah.
Ever since like when did Game of Thrones come out? Like 2008 ish.
Yeah, 2008.
I think that's what it was. I have no way to access.
Yeah, it was a while ago. But like a lot of shows are doing that now. A lot of shows.
Yeah. So okay, let's try and move a little.
Yeah.
Let's move
on a little bit.
Okay, cross off.
I have a big question.
What's up?
Yeah, crossed off. If anyone's watching, we covered the incest stuff. We gotta move on. All right.
Do we want this on the journal? Like this is.
Have you seen the internet? What these horrible people are looking up every day? I don't think this is gonna stand out.
I mean, true enough. Like all of this is out there and on HBO for people to watch at their leisure. Especially if you have a subscription to HBO Max.
To all the viewers out there, we apologize sincerely, and this is all just for educational purposes. So please do stand.
If you're into that stuff, get some help.
Let's
talk to somebody.
Let's talk about like the more real life aspects of the show.
Yeah.
Because we only really have a few images and a slight idea of what the show is going to be about. We have a bit of a list of actors that's going to be on there, and
and those pictures that were posted on Instagram or whatever, those were just like costume pictures that they did for like outfits and just that's why I was gonna say I saw a bunch of the pictures and stuff that they were doing for like fittings and whatnot for the characters, and I think they look pretty cool, to be honest. It has that feel to it for sure.
Yeah. But Matt, you've seen the cast roster right now, correct?
I have not. I've
literally
I've been trying not to like spoil the shit out of myself because I like learning. No, you guys can talk about whatever. I'm just saying I've been trying to like learn on my own.
Honestly,
here,
but I'm not going to go into depth on it. I'm just going to tell you who it is. So the big one I really like is Steve Toussaint. He has some minor roles in some shows. He is black, which is going to be really interesting because you don't see a lot of diversity on the Game of Thrones cast.
And it looks like he's a lord, so he's gonna.
No, Corlys Velaryon is not a lord. He's at the beginning he's not going to be a lord, which is going to be interesting.
It looks like he's got a ton of credits to his name.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but a lot of them are like minor roles, which is kind of like.
Yeah, minor roles, you get a lot of work. You can get it very easily. A lot of job opportunities through that. Yeah, and that's why a lot of people have so many like filmography backgrounds.
He is a really good actor, and I think in this role he's actually going to be able to shine like really well.
Cool,
And then Matt Smith, Doctor Who, is playing Daemon Targaryen. That's a pretty big one.
Okay, I'm a huge nerd. I will not get near that Doctor Who stuff.
Doctor Who's fucking too much for me.
It's too much, but I have seen Matt Smith I've seen Matt Smith in The Crown as Prince Philip, and he's already played a very punchable royal so far. And I think that he'd be really great in the Targaryen role.
Daemon Targaryen is supposed to be kind of likable and kind of badass, so he's not going to be punchable. But also The Crown, another weird. It's Game of Thrones, but more boring.
It's Game of Thrones, but it actually happened ish. Yeah. So, what else?
Oh, Emma Darcy. So she's a phenomenal actress.
She was in
Ready Player One, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was in a bunch of stuff. She's like a really good actress, and she's gonna be playing one of the main roles, which is Rena Target. Rhea.
Right. Let's
damn it.
Let's see if we can get through this name without butchering it. Okay,
It's
Rhaenyra.
We spent too much time on that. Something Targaryen. So she's like the main one. She's one of the main girls.
Let's face it. None of us knew how to say Daenerys until we heard it said out loud.
Or Khaleesi.
It's not her. Oh my god! Shut up. Matt.
I know it's a freaking title, obviously.
But in the promotional material when it came out, when she had like the blonde wig on, she looked exactly like Catherine Whittick from Vikings.
I know. I saw
Almost
that too.
Exactly.
I saw that too. Like when I saw the picture, I was like, "What the
Is
hell?"
that her?
I mean, she would make a good role for it, though. I think she would do a great job in that show.
I honestly was like, "Oh my god, it's her!" I was like, "Whoa."
Oh, Emma Darcy was not in.
No, it wasn't. No, she wasn't.
Player One.
She was in a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, we're thinking of something else.
Olivia Cook was the one in Ready Player One.
What was Emma Darcy? And I'm gonna take a look at
She's in that. What is it? She's
only got like a few film and television credits to her name.
Oh, she was in The Truth Seekers. She was Astrid. She's been in more than. She's been in quite a bit. I can't remember though. Kind of odd. Yeah.
All right. We'll have to check out some of her stuff.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal actress, so I'm happy she's going to be in it. And lastly, he's not cast yet. But my favorite character from the Dance of Dragons and everything was Aemon Targaryen. He's gonna be an awesome character. He has a missing eye. He's got to replace it with a sapphire. He has no actor assigned to him yet, so that'll be interesting to see who they cast.
And from the fact that God, what's his name? Who played the Three-Eyed Raven?
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. Are you talking about the old guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He died rather recently, so let's try to see if we can't get that right. Max von Sydow.
Okay. What about him?
What was I gonna say about him?
You're thinking of Bloodraven.
He's a Targaryen.
That's not the same. Oh,
no.
It's not the same.
Oh my
person.
god. When you do this stuff to me, it hurts me.
They're
like my body is beginning to die when you do shit like this.
They're both Targaryens with one eye. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
All right, let's hear your spiel. Like, come on, let's hear. Like, come on, let's see if you got what it takes here. Let's see. Okay.
I'm angry.
Okay.
Come on,
I'm
buddy.
angry at you. All right, all right. I want you to take that anchor, and I want you to just kind of like hold on to it for a little bit, and then you can release it like a balloon.
If I had a dragon, I'd have him bird you. Hear about kinslaying.
Technically, I'd be a Targaryen, so like it wouldn't even bother me.
If we were Targaryens,
then how would you have a dragon?
I don't know. I'd warg into it.
Okay. All right. So, apparently Jarrett's fanfic involves a little bit of deviation from the
you know what?
original material.
Yeah.
Here's how Jarrett would be. Jarrett would be Patrick when he's trying to get the Rock to win the race against the snails.
Jarrett's dragon is like a little lumpy freaking dragon. He's like, take your time.
Yeah, but then I end up coming up on top. Everyone's dead, and the prize goes to Jarrett. Yeah,
and his pet Rock.
We did
it. Jarrett, your dragon's a rock. Thanks. He's got nerves of steel.
It looks like Visenya Targaryen's dragon is going to the. You can stop now, Caraxes. You can take a break.
Let's go. Let's move it, Valeria.
Let's go. I called you a girl to get you motivated. I'm gonna kick Visenya's butt tomorrow. I don't know why.
Somewhere Arya Stark's like, I don't know why, but I think I'm gonna kick the Targaryen's butt tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm also interested to see more of Westeros instead of just like King's Landing and Winterfell.
Hell yeah, go beyond Westeros.
Yeah. Should we get into our gripes with the original series now?
We can.
We have to.
We've been waiting.
yeah.
We've actually been waiting to do this for a while. I don't
Yeah.
think we've had a Game of Thrones episode yet where we
Game
brought
of Thrones
it.
Gripe Fest.
Yeah, because we've talked about it in the past how we hey, we don't talk about that, we don't do this or do that about Game of Thrones. So why don't we go ahead and finally let it all out? Let this last.
All right.
Let's let the last season just flow.
The thing is about like the House of the Dragon is that they're putting this out basically to make up for the mistakes of Game of Thrones. They fucked it up so bad.
I don't think that they give a shit about the Game of Thrones because they've already made their money, but they really need material to draw people into their app, and I think that's the function of this one.
Yeah, but like how much? Like, all right, so I do have some like the budget for Game of Thrones, like for the first season, was like the pilot itself cost almost 10 mil.
Oh my
Really?
god!
On its own.
Oh my god!
And the rest. Then that was pretty much for the rest of the season. The rest of the whole season for the first one cost between 50 and 60 million, not including promotional material.
Oh my god!
And then the last season of Game of Thrones, each episode was about $15 million each to produce, with a grand total of about 90 million. But of course, they produced and marketed the shit out of that.
Oh my god! And also, is that also including paying the actors their fees? Or
Yeah,
no?
that's everything. That's everything.
Yeah.
To produce it, that's everything.
God.
The only thing for producing that isn't tallied is marketing. Marketing isn't part of that.
Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but one thing that's unique among TV shows about Game of Thrones is like the absolute freaking storm of merchandise that they unleashed.
Oh yeah,
God,
every
yeah.
single banner.
Still out
Yeah.
there to this day. If you go to any
I'm
box
still
lunch,
buying Game of Thrones stuff.
any sister store of Hot Topic like Box Lunch, for example, has Game of Thrones house stuff all the time. Like literally.
Have any Game of Thrones artifacts? Yeah, underneath the Pokédex.
Underneath the Pokédex.
Also,
That's a
I
nerdy
don't
Sam thing. I have that. I have that too. I got that
yeah,
too.
I have that.
One a token for one free assassination.
And for 10 tickets, you could get one maiming, and for 1,000 tickets, you could get anybody killed.
Arya goes into
Ooh.
the House of Black and White, and it's an arcade.
Just win tickets.
It's like you get skee ball costs more, but you win more tickets.
But Jimmy had a point. Like they're trying to drive people to the app and stuff. But like we see with Netflix and all these other series, like their budgets for the apps and subscriptions are notoriously low budget for these TV shows. And in order to be as we said, there's a lot of the dragon battles. There's a lot. It's a civil war. It's a big deal.
With dragons.
So they need a big budget. They need to outclass basically Game of Thrones. This is the Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones.
Yeah, with dragons.
Yeah, with dragons. Not just not pussyfooting around, till the end. It's the whole there are dragons the entire time.
They're not
there,
gonna. They're not gonna rush this one, right? I mean, because that's the biggest issue that was with the last episode is that last season. I'm sorry, but
we don't really know. All we really know is the starting point at this point. We don't know how much the seasons are going to cover.
Yeah.
Or how many seasons they're planning at this point.
And of course, we didn't know how many seasons they were going to do for Game of Thrones until they announced it.
Yeah.
they need
And
to take their time on this.
Yeah.
They need to go by the book.
Mr. George R.R. Martin is co-writing this bitch.
There you go.
did he co-write the original show?
Not really. He he would help them out, but mainly it was up to D&D. And that's the thing. D&D is really good at adapting.
We're talking about David B. Weiss and David Benioff or
Benioff, yeah. So they're really good at adapting stuff. So the material that they have, they adapted, with the books and everything, they're really good at. Especially the first 4 seasons were phenomenal. But once they started running out of material and just kind of having to do it on their own, that's when things fell apart. So I do kind of blame them, but it's understandable. I mean,
and of course you go to George R. R. Martin. George, we need more material. Do you have another story? He's like, I don't know.
give me 10 years.
Come
back to me when the moons are showing 3.
Come back to me 30 years after civilization has ended, and I'll give you your story.
I mean, we're still fucking waiting on the Winds of Winter.
To be fair, I've read up until Dance of Dragons. He wrote himself into no less than 5 corners with those plot lines.
There's no way. Like, honestly, I don't think he's gonna finish the books at all. I don't think he's gonna do it.
He made his money. He made more money. He's probably made more money than J.K. Rowling at this point.
Yeah, but like as you said, he's also written himself in the corner. Also, fuck J.K. Rowling. This is the point where I say fuck J.K. Rowling.
That's the line in the sand you're drawing.
Yeah,
you know, I'll join you. Fuck J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, at this point, you might as well say it. What? Oh, I can't hear you guys at all. You guys have gone mute. I can't hear you guys at all. The hell? Huh. It shows that you guys do not have a microphone on. Sorry, folks, right? Technical difficulties at the moment. I cannot hear you guys. What's going on? I can't hear you guys at all. Can you guys? I still can't hear you.
It's odd.
Okay, I can hear you now. Yeah.
We can't hear you though.
What the hell is going on?
I think it's the Discord.
Okay,
yeah, it's Discord, definitely.
Hold on 1 second, people. We're gonna
mute it for a second.
Hold on 1 second.
He insulted J.K. Rowling.
Oh my god!
They hurt the magic. Yeah. The magic happened. Sorry, folks. We're back now.
Yeah. So what happened was after we started the fuck J.K. Rowling hour, apparently a Dementor came and kicked us off of Discord because we just lost it on our end.
That's never happened until you actually. That's creepy.
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling is like, I don't know why, but I'm gonna go kick the nerdy one's
butt today.
Okay, to be fair, we've declared war on too many people. I mean, Google Meets, Zoom, J.K. Rowling now.
The
Crown.
God.
The Crown. I threw the gauntlet down hard on the Crown just now.
J.K. Rowling just did this. We all are going to disappear.
We can start a war with like the British monarchy, but as soon as you start talking shit about J.K. Rowling, that's where you know
that's where
you gotta come correct.
That's where you draw on the line. That's where you that's where you cross the line. Actually, I'm sorry, you cross the line, and when we started talking about J.K. Rowling, so
which is unusual because like her actual fans say fuck J.K. Rowling. So
yeah,
okay, I just want to make sure that we don't get muted again. I don't know what the hell happened. That was weird.
I think it was a Discord thing.
Yeah, Discord. It just cut out our mic for some reason and cut you off from speaking on our side.
Plus, my computer's 1,000,000 years old.
Did you guys? Could you guys hear me on the live stream at all? Like when it was?
I couldn't. I could. At a certain point, I could hear you.
You were the only one that we could hear on the live stream.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at both. Everything's still up and going now. So if anybody's on the other side and you can hear us, can you just like let us know if you don't? Because how the hell are we supposed to know now?
We've tried every single piece of technology to connect to each other, so we're just gonna have to go back to sending ravens, and that'll be our podcast.
Yeah, that'll be our podcast. Welcome back to Area 31. Jimmy says, I agree, and I forgot what I agreed to, so we're gonna see you next time.
Dude, apparently Raven technology in Game of Thrones world is like, it's better than texting, apparently.
It's more reliable. You can get from Eastwatch at the sea. You can get a Raven down to Dragonstone, and then get dragons up to Eastwatch by the sea and beyond in like 24 hours,
if that. Yeah, that's kind of their Deus Ex Machina. It's like everyone's just got a Raven.
Yeah. I mean, at a certain point, yeah. I mean, like the whole like going beyond the wall thing was kind of a pointless endeavor anyway. We have to have a whole episode where we just rewrite the last couple seasons of Game of Thrones.
Maybe we should have our good old buddy Drew draw up a D&D campaign of just like a rewrite.
Yeah. Yeah, he can DM us, but we are commanding the Battle of Winterfell.
Yeah, the Battle of Winterfell. That was a good episode. It just didn't make sense like afterwards, you know.
Okay, so like everyone and their mom is like, yeah, don't send the Dothraki out first. Like, just every person who's like, I know a little bit about medieval warfare.
Yeah,
is like, yeah, don't do that. So I kind of
in the middle of the night.
I kind of figured out why they did that though.
Why?
It's because like, let's say, this is entirely from a production standpoint. So let's say they like did the smart thing and held back the Dothraki and brought them in. It's like, okay, for that entire sequence, the filmmakers have to have the Dothraki there, so they've got to deal with horses, special effects, extras, all this extra stuff of people who are just literally kind of hanging there for. So either A, they drop production even more, or B, they just make the scene so that they get rid of those guys in the first place.
Also, the Dothraki were pretty OP. She had 100,000 Dothraki. Daenerys could do anything, you know. They had to even up the field to make to bring tension down.
Well, didn't they lose a lot of them though?
Well, yeah,
they lost
half.
They lost about half of everybody that they had in that battle.
Yeah.
So, I do have a quick rewrite. So, in my rewrite, there's better Daenerys going mad and stuff. So basically, there's more battles with the Dothraki, and they just like clean house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Daenerys is getting a little insane, and like basically thinks like, all right, the Dothraki can do whatever I want them to because like they love me, they think I'm a god, and also they're the best. They're the best. So like as Jon Snow and all the lords of Westeros are like making up a plan. I'm like, all right, let's do this, and this. Let's hold the Dothraki back because it doesn't really make sense. Like they're the bulk of our force, at least, but it doesn't make sense. But she's like, no. We're putting them up front because that's where I want them to be. They're gonna clean house. They're gonna finish this, and like no one can disagree with her because she's got a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
That's in my rewrite. That's why they go first.
And a little just a little nuance added in there.
Yeah,
just a little nuance.
Little nuance. It's not a big rewrite. It's just the whole Daenerys going mad. I understand, but it just needed to come from somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, both are. I mean, her two of her dragons died, so that's a big deal.
I mean, but there should have been like moments where she was like obviously getting like incensed because she how would you feel if you have 3 kids? It's a miracle. You've never had kids before, and they
happen to be freaking Godzilla with wings.
Yeah, but they're actual imagine they're actual children.
Okay.
Matt or whatever children Matt is capable of having, like gremlins or minotaurs.
They're just like little miniature versions of Matt, what he looks like right now.
Yeah, perfectly formed. They're just gonna be mini Matts.
Okay, so mini me. All right.
All they do is like run around and grab things and smash them. Like,
like even at 30 years old, they're all the same size. They come out like about 4 feet tall, and they don't learn like any languages. They just are chaotic.
They're
gremlins.
They're like the things from the Cat in the Hat, but they look exactly like
Thing 1 and Thing 2. What the fuck? Are you serious?
Yeah. So all right, let's say you have 3 miracle babies. Okay.
Oh
right.
my god.
Right.
Okay.
And and then one of them dies, and then like a strange dude digs up your kid's corpse and brings it back to life to fight you and your kids.
Okay, I'd be pretty pissed. I'd be pretty pissed.
I'd be pretty pissed.
I'd be pretty mad.
Pissed. And I would be like, what the fuck?
So like,
Timmy, no!
Thing
the
3,
army of
what
the
the
dead
fuck?
The army of the dead is lining up outside Winterfell, and then onto like a rocky cliff, a little tiny mini Matt zombie walks up. It's like,
Like, no, with the Night King on its back, like just riding it.
No, so
oh no,
Mike.
it's like little, so he's riding it like one of those, what's the scooter, the one wheel
Segways.
Yeah, he's riding it like a Segway, just like.
But like on his shoulders, like a Skyrim mod. It's
Oh
like
my
T-posing.
God.
Oh no, he's T-posing. He's glitching out. We can't get him.
Sure, I know you were trying to like make a serious point here, but like I just can't help but imagine all the things we could do with like just little mini me Mats running around.
But like in real life, they glitched out. Like they don't take any damage. They just can run around.
It's like that.
Oh,
you know that one scene in like one of the later seasons where they're like on the little patch of island of snow, and all the White Walker zombies are just kind of chilling there, and the one gets hit by a rock and then just starts walking up.
Yeah.
Mine dies. It doesn't just go. Mine just dies. It wouldn't even rise or run back. It would just die.
Like, it's the Night King. He's like, God damn it! Why do we have these things?
I just thought of an interesting put it on TikTok. You splice two scenes together.
Yeah.
Where like you guys remember Ice Age, the first Ice Age movie?
Yes.
Like where he's like, all right, you guys walk across that, you get the sloth, and then like Sith goes, that's right, losers, you take one step and you're dead. Throws a rocket, the rock lands on the ice in front of the White Walkers. Shh. You're bluffing, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bluff. And then the White Walker steers forward.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good idea. That is a good idea. Wow. Anybody want to edit that in?
I'm gonna put that up on YouTube. No, not YouTube, TikTok.
Yeah, I was gonna say, want to get it taken down, get our channel suspended?
Tic-tac.
Tic-tac.
But Game of Thrones is like, it's a phenomenon. It's gonna be very hard to recreate it. It's either this House of the Dragon is either gonna be really, really good and really popular, or it's going to be really good and not popular, and they're gonna cut it.
Or it's not going to be good at all. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's also.
Here's a question. So Netflix has like repeatedly not learned their lesson when it comes to high budget productions, because they like things like the Dark Crystal show.
Rest in peace.
Freaking Marco Polo, The Crown.
Fuck The Crown.
The Crown's awesome. I'll throw hands on this for Queenie. I'm going to come back to this, actually. Remind me to make a point about this. So my point right now is that Netflix is a streaming service, and they keep having this problem where they make these high-budget productions, and then they can't keep making them because their business model just doesn't support it.
Yeah.
No.
Is HBO going to have the same problem with this show?
Well, the thing is, HBO's always been a streaming service, like a paid thing, but they've never run out of fucking money.
Yeah, but like, I don't remember. I gotta double check this. Don't take my word for it because I'm just like remembering it off the top of my head. I think I remember someone writing in like an article that basically with Game of Thrones, like, yeah, it made a ton of money, but because of the production costs, it pretty much only slightly more than broke even.
Yeah, but like it's the long haul. Like even after the production ended, they're still making a ton of money.
Also,
Right.
it's also, here's the thing, is also the catching of the viewer's eye. Because if you think about it, I'm going to be selfish right now. I'm sorry. But when I first tried watching Game of Thrones the first time, I was so bored with the first few episodes. Like, so bored. And plus, I didn't read any of the books or anything, obviously. So it was like one of those things where it's like, I'm going in this blind. I ain't going to be, expecting something to happen. So, of course, the whole, like, the whole thing with Stark getting his head chopped off at the end, it was like, okay, that's what woke me up. But it took that long. Now, how many of the viewers nowadays are going to sit there and want to sit? I mean, unless you are a previous Game of Thrones fan or are a person who's read the books or just somebody who's into the whole fantasy world in general, is this really going to be pulling the right audience? Are you going to be able to maintain your money or break even with what you're paying for?
That is fair, because what will be the Ned Stark moment? Because for a lot of people, that was like the moment when they realized, like, this is for real.
This is a turning point. That was a turning point.
Yeah.
You're like thinking, okay, little things here and there, who cares? And all of a sudden, it's like they just killed like literally like everybody thought he was gonna be the main protagonist because you watch the poster for the first season. He's sitting on that throne, you know, obviously in grief. You know, he looks like he's just gone through so much shit. But we didn't know that. So when you see that happen, because of course it's like he was gonna be set free. He was gonna commit to treason, but at the same time, it was like once that happened, we saw his head get cut off. We were like, now what? The Stark family's
pain. Yeah. Bring me his head.
And also the Red Wedding. The Red Wedding was also, that was the big turning point for me because that's as far as I got the second time.
The Red Viper fight.
The Red Viper fight.
Battle of Winterfell to a lesser extent. I mean, that was just.
I mean, Stannis dying. I mean, was a big one. I honestly thought he was going to make it until like the end. I thought that was going to be a big thing, like him just always soldiering on until the very end. You know. But,
yeah. Even the ones that sort of like ended happy, like let's say the Battle of Winterfell, the Battle of the Bastards. Like those were, but you know what? Actually, let's just bring it all the way back to the Ned Stark moment. That was the moment where like, okay, that really got, like you said, that got people's attention. Like this show, main characters can die. This show is not your friend, and this isn't going to be like any other show that's been on.
Yeah, no.
Except I mean, like there's other HBO shows, but like this is like the most like people who hadn't been watching, you know, these mature HBO shows and been like, you know. Everyone that was used to the formula, like the good guy wins, the main characters live, etc.
Plot armor is a major factor in all the stories.
Right.
But the thing is, like with the Dance of the Dragons, we kind of already know who's gonna die. We kind of already know when. You know, we already know that the Targaryens are gonna continue onwards, and like there has to be a good, like Matt said, like a major Ned Stark moment. But with the Red Wedding, a lot of people like rage quit. You know.
I mean, that hooked me. That hooked me because it's like that was like the first time I was like, what now can they do? And it's like, you know, obviously you had Arya and Sansa. Sansa and all them like still alive, but it was like the major like protectors of that family were dead. And you're like, all right, so how much farther can you go? But you know, they did it. I'm going to tell you right now, from season 1 all the way to season 7, before the whole, you know, catastrophe of the last season, that was fantastic to me.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic series. There was no dull moment for me. The whole beginning, I was just like, because, you know, it took me 3 tries to watch this entire thing. I'm telling you right now, it took me 3 tries. And when I got through the third time and I got past the Red Wedding, that's when I was like, now I want to know what's gonna happen. Because, I mean, I loved watching the Stark family. That was the one thing I liked watching, was the Stark family just kind of, not the struggle, but like seeing how they kind of prevailed through a lot of the stuff. But I want, like, now the things with HBO shows and, well, this show in general, you know, like you said, Jared, anything can go. Anything can happen. So killing off any character, that's the one thing that they had to play with. So this show has a high chance of being very successful. And I feel like if they can maintain a story where, you know, you can follow, but at the same time, keep the watcher on their, you know, the edge of their seat, that's the only way they're going to make their money. Because if everybody's expecting a Game of Thrones, it's not going to be a Game of Thrones, people. This is going to be something different.
And a main hook for a lot of people was, you know, the dialogue, especially with Tyrion. I liked, you know, the dialogue with Littlefinger.
We're never going to have another Peter Dinklage Tyrion formula.
Yeah, and like the closest thing like a lot of people say is like to Game of Thrones is Vikings. And Vikings does not have the same kind of dialogue.
I mean, I'm a fan of Vikings, but Vikings is ass compared to Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Also, I'm sorry to cut you off. Actually, no, Jared, go ahead and say your thing, and I'll say my thing after.
Like for me, like I really, really like dialogue. For me, it's like a dark chocolate cake. You know, a lot of layers. It's very rich. You know. They need to get a lot of good writers on this show. I would say a lot of like writers that have worked with Quentin Tarantino, that have worked on like a lot of these subversive shows, and you know, specifically writing for Tyrion. They need to get people in there, not make every character like Tyrion, but give people things.
Give them a voice. Give them a voice.
Give them a voice. Yeah, make characters dynamic and interesting.
Yeah. You know, like that's the thing. You can get into characters when they have depth. You know, you have someone like Tyrion who is like kind of selfish and self-serving, but then is able to go through an arc and like, you know, appeal to his better part of himself, and he has all his pain and stuff. Or you have someone like Viserys, not Viserys.
Varys,
who is, outwardly, he's scheming, conniving, but you come to find out that he does have this enormous depth of character, and you're able to really, learn these things about people in the story.
But also, like, the reason that we felt that way is because Tyrion was obviously on the side of the Lannisters. We didn't really like the Lannisters. He's the bad guy, but he's like the smartest guy, and we like him. So we want him to succeed, but he's on the side of the bad guys, and the good guys are trying to kill them. It's kind of like that dynamic. That's gonna be very interesting to see if they can try to recreate that.
Like obviously in the beginning, the Lannisters were very stuck up, the royal family of the bunch, but like honestly, like each one of those characters went through a big change, except for obviously oh my god, I can never remember her fucking name.
Cersei, Daenerys.
Yes. Cersei when she went through the whole phase, but her brother, God damn, Jamie, my god, I can't with the names.
James, you're pissing me off.
Yeah,
you hear that? You hear that crunching sound? That's my heart breaking apart. And yes, my heart has been calcified over the years.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry we don't edit the wiki and know every single little facet of a fake world's history.
I'm sorry that I'm bad with names.
You just need to do better. You guys need to do better for me.
Don't apologize.
I'm gonna need
better.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need like a
if you're
name.
not first, you're last. And right now, you're dead last.
I'm gonna need like index cards with like pictures and like names just so I know who I'm talking about.
Like a Quizlet.
Yeah, it's like
a Quizlet for Game of Thrones.
Jamie Lannister.
Went to that Game of Thrones trivia night.
Oh yeah. So fun story. James and I were there's a local bar near us. Not a bar, it's a brewery, and we're gonna have a Game of Thrones night.
And I don't know if you know this, but we absolutely dominate with Game of Thrones trivia.
Yeah, so, and
we needed teams of 3, so my fiance Caitlin went with us, but she was
and Mom went up with us, right?
Yeah, but they were just like, you guys are gonna carry us, like it's not even a thing. So, but we got to the brewery, and then they're like, okay. We didn't get a lot of replies, so we changed the rules. It's just going to be a normal trivia night. And then we did okay with normal trivia. We got to the final round, and then the final question was
a Game of Thrones question.
Yeah.
It was it's supposed to be the hardest question, And we're like, oh fuck, this is going to be something super obscure. And they go, what are the house words for House Greyjoy? And we're like, easy.
What is this, amateur hour?
Yeah, what is this Babytown Frolics?
I didn't realize we came to drink beer and do trivia at freaking Weenie Hut Junior Deluxe.
Yeah. So,
a lot of
Matt,
SpongeBob
what is the house words for House Greyjoy?
Shit. I just heard it a couple weeks ago when I was watching. Fuck.
I guess it is a hard question.
It's a hard question.
It's one of those things that's no one really pays attention to, though.
We do not sow.
You just sound like the what are those brothers? And It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Did you rip the clasp off a corpse that you made, or
Big
did
Boils.
you buy it with gold?
Dude,
we do not sow. We do not sow the land. We reave and take what is ours.
That's a terrible system of government, by the way.
Yeah, it is. They're basically Vikings that are bad at being Vikings.
So
they're Vikings that were terrible at their job.
Speaking of Vikings, did you guys see that? Did you see that they put the final trailer for the final season for advertising for the History Channel? I know that it was. That's what I'm saying. They're doing that same season, but they're putting it on History Channel too, and they're advertising because it was exclusively on Amazon for that. Wow. But they're saying, "Oh, here's the final trailer the final season." I was looking at it, I'm like, what the hell? We just watched it. And then all of a sudden I was watching it. It's that season, but it's gonna be on History Channel. So I'm like
I still haven't gotten through that. It's
it's not worth
usually
it, dude.
If I find a good show like Game of Thrones or Sailor Moon, I'll just power right through it. It'll be all right, I'm watching episode or 2 a night or something. Vikings, for everything that's going on, I am bored out of my fucking gourd.
Yeah, that after everything else,
a lot of the times.
Unless it's freaking 2014 and everyone's jazzed up on the Vikings craze, there's not really any major reason to watch it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, Ivar's kind of interesting
at the beginning, and then I was just like,
yeah, because that was more like the character build up and everything, and now it was just all personal drama.
Yeah.
But,
and also, like, I'm really niche, so when there are battles, I'm more like, how do they feed people? Like, what are they doing politically? You know? And then, like, Game of Thrones kind of, like, scratched that itch a little bit. You know, so it was some really gnarly battles, but they were, like, really into, like, the logistics stuff of, like, war and, you know, campaigns. So, like, and then when I see, like, Vikings and, like, it's just, like, bursts into melee for no reason, I'm just like, that's not okay. Yeah, so that's how you get hurt, and there's no health insurance.
Yeah, and
dental alone.
And Vikings was one of those shows that had like major Game of Thrones envy. So
yeah,
especially from like the third season on. Yes, there's something else about this House of Dragons that I wanted to bring up, but I don't remember what it was.
You told me to bring something up later.
Oh, I told you to bring up The Crown. Because
who fucking cares about The Crown?
There are two things in this world I don't get. Well, actually, one thing in the world I don't get: people who act like they're not interested in the royals in real life. Like we spend hours watching freaking fake royals duke it out. There are real royals who are just as interesting. You know, sure they're not. You know,
racist and inbred.
Our American celebrities are racist and inbred.
Here we go again. Bring it in the algorithm, which is inbred is going to be our top thing.
Yeah, we're hitting a very specific niche on the internet right now.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna bring in I'm gonna just capitalize on this. Okay, Madam Lady Dimitrescu.
Yeah.
Resident Evil.
Big lady.
Resident Evil.
Step on me. Step on me. Step on me.
Right, I gotta be honest with you. If I was like an agent and I've been going through my entire life, and then suddenly I entered a castle with a big lady like that, I would just melt. So,
all right, I'm gonna mess with the algorithm bit here. Okay.
Dude.
Big lady. Resident Evil name ? Step on.
Step on me. Maybe ?
Did you guys see that the mods they have for that on Steam where you can
I knew there were mods. I heard there were mods, and I specifically said to myself, there's no way in hell it would be healthy for me as a young adult to look at any of that.
Let me tell you one of them. There's one where you get like a fly swatter and you can slap her in the ass, and it literally goes.
No.
It goes, and she goes, "You dirty outsider!" And you get chased down by her. And also, there's one where she wears just like a bodysuit and she's practically naked, and you can chase her around and still hit her with a fly swatter. It was
only a matter of time.
Yeah, it was. I gotta be honest with you. That was quick. I know the modding community, and this was something that they were waiting for right out of the gate.
They saw the trailer. They saw the trailer and were like, "All right, I know what I'm doing."
I've got one just for you, Matt. There's one where it replaces her face and her sound effects with Thomas the Tank Engine.
Ladies and Mercy who hasn't seen this shit before.
Dirty outsider.
I don't know if that makes it more hot or less.
There's nothing hot about this.
Thomas the Tank Engine coming to a store near you.
I hope this doesn't awaken anything in me.
Oh yeah.
So okay, let's bring it back on track.
We got way off track on this.
Step on me.
I feel bad. Like I don't have regrets for a lot of things. I feel like I'm a pretty perfect person. But this was a bad time for me.
I have a feeling that this episode is going to lead to either me not being able to get employment later in life, or I'm going to end up getting canceled for 3 to 6 years.
We did a background check on you, Mr. Matthew Schoonover, and it looks like you're talking extensively about a fictional digital woman being hit with a splice water for far too long.
Please elaborate.
You hit our algorithm for a maximum risk.
First of all, I like to start off with "step on me," and then I want to say you could take a fly swatter and just whoosh, "You dirty outsider."
Why would you repeat yourself? Why would you strengthen that? Okay, I'm gonna bring it back to a facet of Game of Thrones.
Giuliani's gonna bust through our doors and start suing us for just being garbage human beings.
I mean, that would be.
Can we get her on a soundboard?
That'd be the only surefire way that we wouldn't get convicted.
Can we get like her? Can
Rudy Giuliani just declared war on the big rude.
Can we get the lady? Can we get Big Lady's voice on like a soundboard? So every time something happens, like if we get a follower, it'll be like
that's like
welcome
one
outsider.
Of the few things I'm not gonna do on the show is do something like that.
Matt, as an equal investor in Area 91, I veto that and absolutely fucking forbid you from doing that.
Actually, Jimmy's secret job is to veto the shit you bring up that's a bad idea, and that's one of them. Very good job.
The rest of the members on the board have come to agreement.
So we get a dislike, and it's like, oh, you will die.
That's what got us the dislike. Not the whole incest stuff that we were talking about.
Welcome to the family. We're so close.
It was J.K. Rowling and the modding community. Those are two enemies that we did not want to make.
Yeah, the modding community, you guys are perfect. You're keeping society aflout, but there's some things I have a lot of questions on, my guys. I have a lot of questions.
Okay. Let's bring it back to Game of Thrones. I'm going to talk about a facet that I enjoy about Game of Thrones universe.
Yeah,
is that there are apparently a ton of fights and sword fights that get mentioned or happen in the history of the background that have not seen the light of camera, have not been put to film yet.
Yeah.
One of the big ones that did get put to film that was only vaguely mentioned, but they actually, even in the books it wasn't described. It was only vaguely mentioned, and they actually full on fleshed out this fight scene. It was the Tower of Joy fight.
I have my own opinion on that.
Yeah, I did not enjoy. So one big gripe I have about Game of Thrones is they can't choreograph or film a fight scene to save their life.
There was not even
garbage.
a war. There was no war scenes at all in the first season. That was what killed me. You would think that was when Tyrion was getting dressed up and ready for that one battle, and then all of a sudden he gets knocked out, and then the whole battle was over. I was like, what the hell, man?
It was 2,000 guys versus basically 10,000 people.
Yeah.
So it was basically a slaughter anyway.
Yeah, and my big gripe is when they do one-on-one fight scenes. Let's say in the first season it was Jaime Lannister versus Ed Stark, and in the street they just don't know how to film a good fight scene. It's choppy, and they don't they're showing it from a bunch of different angles, and they don't have any smooth transitions or smooth exchanges or anything.
It's just always jump cuts.
Yeah, even the Red Viper scene, which uses kung fu moves and shit, they had the exact same problem.
Yeah, honestly, the best shot sword fight I've ever seen in Game of Thrones is Jon Snow in the Battle of the Bastards with the fog of war scene.
The war scene.
The big one shot. Jar. That's one of the best scenes I've ever seen.
Matt, what's so goddamn funny over there?
Shut the fuck up, Matt.
I just thought of something and I don't want to say it.
Don't say it.
Then don't.
I've seen into your brain this episode, Matt. I don't want to see more.
Okay. How we were talking about Big Lady? Well, there is a Big Lady in Game of Thrones.
I know how you were talking about it. Yeah.
We were still talking about it.
There's a Big Lady in Game of Thrones.
Brianna Tarth.
Brianna Tarth.
I was thinking, speaking of Big Lady.
She's not a big lady. She's a big woman, according to Tormund.
Big woman.
I hate you. The reason I hate the Tower of Joy scene is because the whole point of the Tower of Joy is why it matters so much is because of the who was there. Howland Reed and a bunch of the lords of the North. Trusted friends of Ed Stark. We kind of really didn't get to know them at all, and didn't really get the sense that these were the best fighters the North had ever seen as well. This is three of the best fighters of Westeros. I really wanted to see these giant gruff dudes, basically berserkers, versus highly skilled guys, people like Tormund, at the size of Tormund's Giantsbane, going up against these highly skilled warriors. They're getting slashed and stuff, but they're still going because they're so big and stuff. And the only real skilled fighter is probably Howland Reed and Ed Stark, and they can barely hold their own.
Yeah, and so Sir Arthur Dayne was considered so you know how in Game of Thrones they have Valyrian steel?
Yeah.
So in the books, Valyrian steel is described as black. It's black steel basically, and they don't really talk about this a ton in the show, but basically Valyrian steel is like so sharp and so durable that it never loses its edge. It's basically adamantium. And so it's like, so that's why it's so damn special. It's a sword that never loses its edge and like never rusts.
That's true, and it also is the only thing that kills a White Walker, apparently, or fire.
Yeah,
or dragon glass, or
dragon glass. Yeah.
Armor.
I'm not done with my thought yet.
Anyway.
So anyway, but Sir Arthur Dane, who was in the Tower of Joy scene in the show, he was the guy who was twirling the two swords around.
Yeah.
Do you remember that, Matt?
Yeah.
So anyway, he's considered in the books. He's described as like the best, most gallant, most skilled knight in all of the land
ever.
And he's like Ned Stark's age, and his family has, and the sword he wields is called forget the name.
It's Star something.
Star something. Anyways, but it's a sword that's like, it's made of steel from a fallen meteorite, and it's got the same properties as Valyrian steel, but it's white instead of black.
Ooh.
So he's got like an even more special blade.
What would be really cool is like Ned Stark with ice, a black greatsword versus a white longsword.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been cool. They didn't fucking do that.
No. And they just can't choreograph a fight scene to save their goddamn lives, like I said. And and so let's see here. What's another fight scene that would have been great to see? So down the road in history, there's Sir Duncan the Tall versus the Laughing Storm, which is a big fight that happens.
Well, actually, a good fight was Brienne of Tarth versus Jaime Lannister on the bridge. That was pretty good. It didn't last too long. It was more of a character interaction rather than a real fight, which I think is the point of a sword fight, especially medieval, like something like Game of Thrones.
In a movie, a sword fight has to be, if it's a good fight scene, it is part of the story and advances the story.
But like shows, I feel like sword fights should be more of like character stuff. Like Jaime Lannister has a very different style than Ned Stark. Like Ned Stark is like, it has the power and like straightforwardness of a Northman, but he's like trained his entire life. So he's an awesome swordsman. And Jaime Lannister's never fought anything like that. That's just show. Like Jaime Lannister is very skilled, but he can't like go blow for blow with Ned Stark. But they just don't really do that. And also, I don't think Ned Stark ever really uses ice other than decapitation.
Yeah. So like, Ned Stark always struck me as like. So have you guys ever seen Rob Roy with Liam Neeson?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like Rob Roy's character, like he's like the best sword fighter in the Highlands in this movie, but he doesn't do dueling. Like every time he brings out his sword, it's to fight and kill someone. Like he doesn't he's like, I'm not messing around here. Like that's the only reason I'm going to bring a sword out. And I think that's like I would have liked to see a little bit more of that characterization. Well, actually, we did. Like when Jaime Lannister and Ned are talking, he's like, why don't you ever do a tourney? He's like, because when I fight people, I don't want them to see what I'm gonna do. Like he only fights when it's serious.
Like in the books, it's described that basically Ned Stark's dad said that he could have been like one of the best tourney duelists ever, but he just never did it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was gonna be like a mad warrior, but he never really did it because he's basically a warrior. He like Robert Baratheon. If he brought out his sword, he was killing people.
Yeah, but like unlike Robert Baratheon, he never was like, yeah, that was awesome when I was killing people. He's like, I did what I had to.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a responsible Valyrian steel sword owner.
So if I was gonna redo the Tower of Joy scene, I would have a lot of characterization around like flashbacks of Ned Stark and his like 9 companions. Was it 7 companions?
I think it was 5. I want to say 5.
It was more than that. It was hang on.
We're gonna let's take a look at
Joy.
Tower of Joy.
Because I want to make sure it was quite a few.
Oh, combat at the Tower of Joy. That's what we want. Blah blah blah.
Tower of Joy sounds like a bar.
Actually, it does.
Ooh, we should start a bar.
It was Eddard Stark, William Dustin, Sir Mark Castell, and Theo Wolf. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 versus 3. So if I was gonna redo it, I would have the 3 knights waiting at the top. They're getting ready for battle, and they hear like screams and stuff because there's a Targaryen camp at the base, and these of like 20, 50 guys, and these 7 dudes just powered their way all the way through them. We see that, these are like the best, and when they get up there, they're like, not exhausted, but they've already seen battle and stuff, and going up against these clean, covered in white soldiers.
Yeah,
that's what I would do if I was asked, but I wasn't.
Jared,
I was just asked.
They were like, "Who's this guy?"
I Game of Thrones.
I can see Jared walking into a movie studio with just like a clipboard, like no one knows who the hell he is. He's just trying to give off direction, and all the actors just stand there.
Yeah,
like,
it's just like I go up to the director. What are we doing? He describes it. Nah, we're not doing that.
Or like, and it's the skit, the Whitest Kids You Know skit where Trevor Moore pitches all the movie ideas. He just walks into the thing. He's like, "No, I got this idea." So anyway, this big dam breaks, and all the water in the world is like flooding the city, and then Mel Gibson turns around in a taxi cab and says, "Here we go again. Boom, the flood. Boom, the summer."
No. It'd be like the Key and Peele skit where he's like, they're pitching Gremlins 2. Yeah, there's gonna be a spider gremlin. Yeah. Also, an underrated sequel, Gremlins 2.
So, that was anyway. Okay, we're talking about. Okay,
yeah.
So anyway, so Arthur Dane, his blade is called Dawn. That white and steel sword,
and the it's like a big deal when a person of House Dane, actually it's not like the heir of House Dane, it's just somebody that is extremely knightly gets to wield the sword. It's like a big deal.
Here's something here. Okay, here's a directly from the words of George R.R. Martin. Sir Barristan Selmy and Arthur Dane were evenly matched with regular swords, but if Arthur wielded Dawn, he would beat Barristan. So Barristan Selmy was considered the best fighter and knight in Game of Thrones universe at the time. Obviously according without either equal or only slightly less is better than Sir Arthur Dane. So
to put into perspective, Matt, do you remember in the first season where Barristan Selmy gives up his sword and is like, quits the
Kingsguard.
The Kingsguard.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So in the books, Barristan Selmy gives up, and walks out, and Joffrey sends like a ton of guys to go, kill him, like 8 or 7 guys to go kill him. And without a sword, he kills every single one of them and escapes. Like that's how badass he is.
And he's like 70 at the time or something, right?
Yeah, he's like 70.
Because I remember that part where he resigned because of basically the way they were having they were gonna change how the guard was and how traditions were gonna be, and he was like,
"Yeah,
I'm not doing this." And even when the king said, "I demand you," he's like, "No."
Even now, I could carve through the 6 of you like a cake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here,
basically.
take my sword, boy. Melt it down with all the others.
Yeah.
Yeah. That.
Cool. It's like, ah.
Melt this on my chair.
So, another fight scene that gets mentioned in the books but never is filmed. I doubt that they'll ever get to doing this. This next fight scene I'm talking about it's my ambition to do a fight, to film it and put it on YouTube as like a superpower beatdown style production.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So, preface this: while the Mad King was alive, there was an uprising by the Kingswood Brotherhood, which are basically like a band of outlaws. So the Mad King sent the Kingsguard, and Arthur Dane was there with his white sword. Jaime Lannister was his squire, and basically Sir Arthur Dane won the peasants over and was able to defeat the Kingswood Brotherhood.
Barristan Selmy was the one that won had the strategy of winning over the peasants.
Yeah. So, but the Kingswood Brotherhood had one of their guys was called the Smiling Knight, and he basically sounds like the Joker of Westeros. Jaime Lannister describes him as he was the Mountain of his youth when he was a kid. So he was the best swordsman, the most feared fighter, but he was twice as insane as the Mountain. He's he feared nothing. So in the final battle, Sir Arthur Dane and the Smiling Knight get into this huge fight, and halfway through, Sir Arthur Dane breaks his sword and waits for the Smiling Knight so the Smiling Knight can get a new sword and keep fighting honorably. And the Smiling Knight says, it's that white sword of yours that I want. And then Sir Arthur Dayne says, then you shall have it. And they fight, and Sir Arthur Dayne kills him.
It's an epic battle.
It's an epic battle. So I really want to try and choreograph it correctly, not Game of Thrones style.
Yeah.
And I think we could make a really, really interesting scene with that, because in the books, Jaime Lannister is like reminiscing. He's like, I wanted to be Sir Arthur Dayne when I grew up, but somewhere along the way I became the Smiling Knight. So like we could do like a really cool backstory scene almost, I think.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like,
well,
we need a blonde boy.
we need we're casting blonde boys, must be blonde and grow a beard.
All right, so what you were saying, we are running up on time. It's starting to get pretty late.
But Matt, so let's round it off with what are we most interested in seeing this new show? Matt, what do you want to see the most?
Well, I guess more about the Targaryen family, I guess. I mean, obviously, like, Game of Thrones doesn't really elaborate too much on, like, what the history was like. You know, you see bits and pieces from, you know, Ned Stark's past, you know, with the whole deal with Jon Snow, but you don't see very much. I'm looking forward to seeing, like, how this all kind of ties into, like, how the family became so powerful. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to the fight scenes. It looks like one of the characters they name on the Wikipedia page is Kristen Cole, and they describe him as an expert swordsman. So I'm hoping there's going to be a lot more sword fights in this one.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to see if maybe they're able to get their shit together and choreograph and film an actual decent fight scene. But I've yet to see any of that.
I'm just excited to see more like minor houses and more of Westeros. You know, not that. Yeah, I'm just tired. I know what Winterfell looks like. I know what King's Landing looks like. Let's see something else. Let's see Highgarden. You know, let's see anything else.
Anything else but a rush story.
Yeah.
Like when they have like the Battle of the King's Road, the Battle of the Gold Road, more of.
Yeah.
And the background, it looks like the American Southwest with these like giant cliffs and buttes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, this whole like set was here the whole time, and you guys didn't use it.
Yeah, we could have been having battles here, but no.
So, that'll be interesting.
I am looking forward to like the big dragon on dragon battles.
Mm-hmm.
Those are going to be gnarly.
Yeah. They're going to be smaller dragons than probably Balerion or Drogon ever were.
First of all, I think Baraxes is the one that Aemond flies, and that's the last dragon from the original
the big three,
and that is the biggest one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not I don't think it's going to be the size of Balerion, but it's definitely going to be way bigger than Drogon was.
Yeah. I'll probably get to see the throne room with all the dragon skulls. Maybe?
But like that was described as like it was filled with dragon skulls after, like, during the time of the Mad King, like, so, and that's after all those dragons had died.
I guess there aren't enough dead dragons around at this point.
And like Tywin said, the last dragon skull was here, size of an apple. I miss Christopher Dance as
Charles Dance.
Sorry, Charles. I got him. Christopher Lee and Charles Dance confused. Charles Dance. He was the perfect Tywin.
I wonder if they were ever in a movie together. I want to look that up. Christopher Lee.
Well, okay. I guess now we could say
just go with it, man.
Just go with it, I guess. But
just go with it.
Not looking like it.
Yeah,
okay.
They weren't together, but actually Charles Dance as Count Dooku,
I would have watched that.
Would be good.
I'd be watching that right now.
I can see it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We're
I would literally drool and go to any movie that would Count Dooku as Charles Dance. Cast Count Dooku as Charles Dance in the Charles Dance the movie, the Force Awakens in the real world.
So you want Count Dooku to come down from outer space?
Yes. To play Charles Dance in the Charles Dance movie.
What's my motivation? What's my motivation?
Yes. While Charles Dance is making the Death Star in his basement.
And you know, the director's like, okay, Count Dooku, all right, that was some good. I've got a few notes on the lighting.
Yeah, I want this to be a show. Charles Dance just talking about his life, putting together like Star Wars sets of Legos, just chilling, just like in his basement. Like, hi, I'm Charles Dance. Okay, and today we're going to be putting together Death Star.
Okay, Charles Dance seems like really nice and super chill, but I don't think that he's like super nerdy, super chill.
I don't care. I just want him to do things for me.
There are some celebrities who are like super nerdy and chill. I don't think Charles Dance is one of those. I think that he's probably way too cool for any of that.
Well, yeah, but like Christopher Lee wasn't like super nerdy. He's like very elegant, you know.
And he did vocals for a freaking metal black metal, not black metal, but yeah, freaking like Viking metal band or something. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So, all right, we on that note.
that note.
Yes. Before we go on another tangent about big women.
Please no. Okay.
Matthew, we had a good track record. We didn't bring it up. We were clean. We had a good time talking about Charles Dance being the best.
If people like clicked on our video halfway through, they wouldn't have had to deal with that shit at all until right now. You just decided to derail the whole thing.
This train's a rocket.
Chernobyl was a better thing than what you just did here.
Okay. All right. Let's wrap things up here. Okay. Let's make like the 8th season of Game of Thrones and just completely dash to the finish and fuck everything up, shall we?
Yeah, Matt's been a terrible character this entire time. He's not going to change now.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let us know what you think is going to happen on the House of the Dragon, and watch us next week here at Airy Nerdy 1. This has been Jimmy.
Been Jarrett.
It's been Matt.
You're going to delete all that, right? Please tell me you're going to delete all that.
No, delete all that, because you just tainted